I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Monday night was cool. I went 2-2, but my biggest bet hit, so the streak continues. We're up to 6 consecutive winning days. Can't last forever, but it certainly is nice while we're in the middle of it. Hopefully that continues. Yeah, we got 5 NBA games. It's a good college basketball night. I got 3 college basketball bets open, and I have a couple more I'm considering. So we got college basketball coming after the NBA. We went through 10 college or 11 college basketball games last night in the midnight stream. So if you're trying to bet some college basketball, you might want to check that out either after this or because we're only going through 5 or 6 here on this one. I don't know where Chris is. Let me check my Twitter DM, see if I got a message from him.
Sometimes Chris forgets that it hits 4 o'clock.
Password not. He says the password's not working, but I know it's working because I set Modi the same password.
I don't know.
The Modi being here is proof that the password's working because
it's also the same password for every single day. Of
every
the week.
single day of the week, it's the same password.
Yeah, yeah, it's not hard. Yeah,
Tuesday 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Last night it was a dog walking for a little bit. Notre Dame made it interesting.
We did a 1-score game.
I clicked on the old link. Oh, damn it. Okay, it's my bad. I sent Chris the wrong link. This is on me.
Taking some days off, sending the wrong links. This guy.
Vanderboss is in the comments, and probably I sent Vanderboss Thursday 1 as the password last night. So I was clowning him. Vanderboss can't figure out how to get in the room. Turns out I sent him the wrong password.
You're calling him the wrong guest name, too. This is Chris we're talking about, not Vandenbosch.
No, I was responding to Vanderbosch in the comments. Because that happened last night. I sent him the password Thursday 1 instead of Tuesday 1.
Just screwing with Chris.
There he is. He made it. He's coming on. There we go. Hey, pal.
Can't talk Chauncey without Chris.
What's up? We can talk Chauncey without me.
I think you're muted.
I hear him.
Oh, wait. Oh, I can't hear him. Shall
just leave it, come back real quick. Yeah, I don't know why it does that. So we got Portland, Miami first, 5 NBA games, some college basketball. I did not have a winning NBA night last night, but
smoke.
Oh, did you? I went 1 and 2.
Well, not smoke. I went 2 and 3. But my bigger plays was the one that we talked about with the Suns. So
yep.
I ended up going down like a little over 2 units because I loved them. Thank God for Boston. They salvaged the day.
I lost the Suns and I lost the Hornets over, but I had Hornets plus 5.5. So I went 1 and 2. But Ohio State.
I told you I thought that was a better bet too. I was like, I should probably put in some plus 4.5 right now, and I didn't, and I lost.
Yeah, I just had to. That was my favorite bet initially, and then I ended up betting some other stuff. But yeah, we got Portland, Miami up first. Let's start with that. I talked about this one last night. I do think on paper the Heat should be able to win this one comfortably by double digits. They just beat Portland in Portland about a week and a half.
See the updated injury report, Cal?
Tyler Hero listed as questionable.
Hero. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, that definitely changes things. But, I mean, I would still lean towards the Heat. The reason that I didn't pull the trigger, you could put up Heat minus 9.5 for me, but I'm not betting this one. The reason I didn't pull the trigger on this is it's a crazy reason, but Advia, man, has me a little bit scared. Avija, I'm sorry. So
it's Advia. I think it's
Avdia.
It's not Avija?
Avdia.
I don't know if that's right.
It's Diddy Avdia.
It's definitely not a
It's
Avija,
not
whatever the
Avija.
hell you said.
I think it's Avija.
No, it's not.
Whatever. Denny. So he missed. Okay, so obviously when we're looking at these games, we're looking at like the last 5 games, the last 10 games, right? And Portland's numbers look terrible in the last 5 games, the last 10 games. If you look a little bit closer, Avia or Avija Avija missed a 3-game stretch in there, and they got absolutely routed in those 3 games. And if you just look at the last 6 games that Advia has played in, Portland's 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games with Advia in there. So this guy does make a difference. It felt weird laying a big number to the Blazers, who are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games that this guy plays, especially laying a big number with the Heat team that historically, dating back multiple years, you don't want to be laying big numbers at home with the Heat. I mean, they always just seem to shit the bed. So couldn't actually do it. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. I do think the Heat win comfortably, but I will not be betting it.
Hold on, you next. I'm last.
I took DeAndre Ayton double in this one. You can actually get a better price. I got plus 115. You can currently get it plus 120 at FanDuel. Obviously, I'd still take it there. The rebounds is the better matchup, but his point prop is set at like 13.5. It's been hovering between like minus 110 to plus 100. He scored 10 points in 80% of his games. And even though the Heat aren't like an ideal matchup for his point prop, we're only asking him to score 10 points. And even if you look at teams like, so he obviously scores the majority of his buckets in the restricted area. Heat are top 8 guard in the restricted area. Even if you just look at games where he's playing teams in the top 10, so like these are like technically like should be the 10 worst matchups for him. He scored 10 points in 7 of 8 games. So I'm not worried about that. The rebounds is really what I like against the Heat. Now he missed the last game against the Heat, so we don't have anything off of that. But the Heat have been a good matchup for center rebound props all year. If you look at players similar to his rebounding style, according to Props Madness, 9 of 13 have hit their rebound prop over. And just go through the last 4. Zubac had 20 over under 13.5. Kessler in not necessarily back to, like it wasn't a back-to-back, but in 2 games in 5 days against the Heat, 15 rebounds, 16 rebounds. Şengün before that had 18. Now, the one that missed in this stretch was Capella, but his rebounding has been terrible this year, so I'm not surprised that he missed. And in the game before that, Hartenstein had 18 rebounds against the Heat. So it's just a good matchup against the Heat for center rebound props. Really, that's what we're betting here, is that he gets to 10 rebounds. The point, like I said, the points I'm not worried about because, again, 80% of his games he scored 10 points. And even in the good matchups, he scored 10 points.
All right, so Ayton double. Got a bunch of picks in the comments here. So B Valley says Jovic under 7.5 rebounds and assists. Weird one, but that's B Valley. He's a friend of the program. He also loves Bam PRA. Hold on, there was one particularly that I wanted to read. Oh, it's Steez. Steez crazy ass is in the comments, and he said Blazers money line. And there's no laughing emojis next to it. I think he's dead ass serious on Portland money line here. What is that sitting at? I'll give Steez some props if this one hits. It's sitting at plus 360, Steez. Steez is going with the Blazers money line here. If Tyler Hero plays, maybe holding some value before tip. Still don't 100% see them winning the game, but hey, I will wish you luck. Chris?
To Steve's point, Cal, and to your point, like laying these big numbers, is like the Heat, I think they've only been a double-digit favorite one time this season at home. And they won. They didn't cover. I think they lost by the hook. They were playing against the Jazz. I think they won the game by like 9. But this season, the Heat, they just historically don't take these games serious if they've already beaten you. They're 0-5 against the number if they've already beaten you earlier this season. And they went into Portland, got a big win. Portland has actually covered their last 5 games as a road dog. But so I lean towards Portland, especially if Tyler Hero, like they don't have enough offense in my opinion if Tyler Hero's not going to play. So I definitely lean towards Portland as well, especially given that trend. On the other side, I think Anthony Simons is still listed as questionable. This is some question marks in this game. I do like the under too, Kyle. Like I didn't bet any of this. But
I was actually leaning over.
So the reason why I like under is because Portland is a terrible offense. Both of these teams play pretty slow, and I think Portland could run out of gas here. This is 3rd game in 4 nights and 4th game in 6, traveling all the way from Portland to Miami. I think they could run out of gas late. This is already a bottom 5 offense. If Tyler Hero doesn't play, like this total is coming down. Only came down, I think, 2 points without Tyler Hero being questionable. So we'll see. Portland also 8-2 to the under as a double-digit road dog this season. Their offense typically does not come to play. And I can see Miami kind of running this one in the grind. So I'll lean under. I'll lean Portland plus their points. And I do like Denny Abdia as well. His points plus rebounds. Because what you said, Kyle, I went and looked at it. He's getting like 34 minutes a game over his last 10. He's been crushing that points plus rebounds. And given the situational spot, 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th and 6, to me, that symbolizes, because he's only played in 1 of those games. He played in the last one. So he hasn't played third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th. That's the rest of the team. So I think he'll have a little bit more usage tonight as well. So I like Denny Abdia as well, but I didn't bet any of it.
All right, let's move on to the next one. And we have a disagreement on the next game. Prop Beaver, or I'm sorry, the Length King is going to join us.
Well,
Prop Beaver has a strong...
congratulations.
Thank you.
Bodai. So Prop Beaver went on a nice little run hitting longest rush, longest reception, longest receiving. Yeah. And he was calling himself the Length King.
Yeah.
That's not my nickname, but Mazel Tov for the length.
Wow, you're the gaddy giver.
So Prop Beaver's about to share with us that he has a position on the Raptors. Now, he did get +3. So he's holding CLV.
They do call me the CLV Lord.
I think what Prop Beaver is missing here.
Not missing anything.
I think what he's missing here
Nothing.
is that the Magic, despite all their injuries and all the problems they've had this year, they actually still do handle their business when they see bad basketball teams.
Okay, dope.
They're like 12. They're like 12 and 14.
Are you done? All right, thanks.
I have a bet too, but go ahead. Go first.
Yeah,
You're so freaking
thanks
anxious.
for your dog shit intro. So I like the Raptors here. I like them to win straight up. We saw the previous time the Magic came into Toronto. I was thinking about taking that bet, but the line kind of stunk to me. The Raptors were essentially fully healthy entering that one. RJ became a late scratch and then quickly, all of a sudden, became active for that one. In that one, Banchero was out. Suggs got injured mid-game, and the Magic came into Toronto, and they beat them straight up. So why do I like the Raptors all of a sudden to essentially win this one straight up here? Well, first of all, there's a lot of trends I like. First of all, Magic 2-6 against the spread with the rest disadvantage. Raptors 4-2 against the spread with the rest advantage. That's nice. On the road, Magic 9-13 against the spread, including 3-6 in their last 9. Raptors at home this season have been awesome. 14-7-1, 13-5-1 as dogs with 2 back-to-back wins straight up over the Warriors and Celtics, may I mind you. And yeah, in that last game, sure, quickly came back. The dude was ass. He shot 4 of 17, and he's been dreadful all season. Having Barrett back in this one and quickly out, in my opinion, is a massive swap. So I'm happy to take that. Third, the Magic have regressed significantly, and the Raptors have improved significantly since they last played. I mean, the Magic's defensive ratings down to 20th their last 5 games. Raptors' offensive rating up to 13th during that span, despite facing the second hardest strength of schedule. And meanwhile, we got the Raptors' turnover issue decreasing. That's something that Orlando took advantage of in the last matchup. We've seen the Raptors be more potent on the board. We've even got them creating more turnovers, which is something that we've seen the Magic struggle with. Meanwhile, the Magic offense, what are they completely unable of exploiting? Bad defenses. That is the kryptonite of this Raptors team. The final thing that I really like is the fact that this matches up really nice for the Raptors offense. What does the Raptors offense love to do? They love to attack the rim. Well, last 5 games without Goga on the court, I mean, this Magic defense is extremely vulnerable at the rim. 21st in rim frequency, 28th in rim efficiency. During the same span, Raps offense, 14th in frequency, 7th in efficiency. They've also really thrived attacking the long mid-range, and the Magic arguably have the worst long mid-range defense in all of the NBA. So, yeah, I think this is a game where the Raptors get their revenge here. Magic were able to come into Toronto earlier this season and get the straight-up win with nobody on the court. I mean, they didn't have Franz in that one. They didn't have Banchero. Suggs got injured 2 minutes into that one. Now they have Banchero back, and the books had the Magic laying points here. I think that was a mistake. I think the Raps win this one straight up.
Chris gave you this.
Yeah, because he knows.
Chris knows ball.
You're on the same side?
No, I didn't bet this side, but probably even make a lot of great points. I think what you were about to say, Cal, is that this is a big step down in class for Orlando because their last few games have been against the absolute juggernauts of the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference as well versus Denver. But I mean, I'm not sure how much I trust them here either. Like I get it. This is a 10-win team on Toronto side. Even I might be giving them a couple wins, but I think it's gonna be a difficult game for them to win. So I stayed off the side. I like the total. I like under.
What'd you get it at?
Official play. So I played first half under. Official play first half under. I played 110.5, Kyle. 110.5. I think it's moved down to 109.5. To Prop Beaver's point, I did see there's a couple guys. I think it's an injury bug going through Orlando's locker room. I don't know if y'all saw that, but
Isaac and
what's his name? Isaac
Cole Anthony
yeah,
both got added.
Yeah. You definitely want Isaac on the floor. You want Jonathan Isaac on the floor if you want any semblance. I mean, they have like the bench of bench players out there playing with Paolo right now, outside of Wendell Carter Jr. So I just think it's going to be a slugfest. One of the things that really jumped out to me when I was looking at it is that the Raptors in the first half with the rest advantage are 5-1 to the under. The Orlando Magic in general are 8-1 to the under as a road favorite, specifically in the first half. They're 7-2 to their team total under. So both teams playing super slow. Orlando, I think the worst offense in the NBA last 5 games. I just think it's going to be a dogfight of a game. First team to 85 wins. So first half under should be an easy cash.
I'm more in your boat. I would love to fade Prop Beaver and take the Magic. I do think the Magic win. What Prop Beaver's missing here is Orlando, despite all the shit they've been through this year, they're still 12-5 against the spread against bottom 10 offenses and 10-5 against the spread against bottom 10 defenses. I'm sorry. So even when they look like shit, they still handle their business against bad teams. This is most definitely a bad team. So I think the Magic wins.
Kyle, look. The point that Prop Beaver can make in that argument is that those teams that are 12-5, I think I saw 12-2 against bottom 10 defensive teams. Those teams, Kyle, had a much better roster than this version of Orlando going into Toronto tonight.
Exactly. So, yeah.
It's
I
still
can make case on both sides.
It's still the Raptors. But I'm not on the Magic, so I won't argue that.
Same.
I got the under at 216 last night. CLV King back at it, just sniping. No, but it's not just that these are two terrible offenses, because you could also argue that both these defenses are bad as well. So it's not me isolating the offenses. It's me pointing straight at the pace. In the last 10 games, the Raptors are running an extremely slow pace. If it was 2 or 3 games, I'd say screw it, small sample size. But 10 games, 96.8 possessions per game, that's slow. I don't know what exactly happened to cause this shift in the Raptors game, but the Raptors are running a slow pace now. Maybe they decide, you know what, guys, let's come out and be the old Raptors tonight and I get screwed here. It's possible. But they've been running a slow pace for 10 games now, and they're playing Orlando, who runs one of the slowest paces in the NBA, and that dates back multiple years. In the last 10 games, the last 12 games, the Magic are averaging just 94.5 possessions per game. 94. That's their average. So this is the Orlando are dog slow. Slow as ass, like the slowest paced basketball team in the NBA against the Raptors, who out of nowhere in their last 10 games are running an extremely slow pace. So throw out the bad offenses, throw out the bad defenses. I don't care. I just think this game is going to be a crawl where, I mean, I still would bet it at 212.5. Honestly, I got it at 216, which obviously I like a lot better, but I don't even
212.5.
It's 212.5.
Damn. Okay.
So this number's been on the move.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, so I still would go under here. I don't even think all the value's gone. I would put this one at like 207.5. So just by the pace, the type of basketball game we should see here, even if the offenses are scoring, they're still going to struggle to get up and over this number. So I expect to see a slow-paced game again. Is it possible that the Raptors come out and start running again like they used to? Sure. Maybe they come out and they're like, we're going to run fast-paced tonight. It's definitely possible. But based on what we've seen in the last 10 games for both these teams, I don't know how they're getting up and over this number. So I'm on the under. This is actually my only open NBA bet today, is this right here,
so
under 216.
Same. That's the only thing I got open is 110.5.
I'm under. Considering Denver, though. We'll talk about that in a couple of games, but I'm not opposed to laying it with Denver. We'll talk about it. What about Chris, a.k.a. Matt?
Oh.
It always gets messed up when Beaver comes in. It's all good. I have 2 in this one, but one of them, the odds aren't available anymore, and it's really not even bettable. So it was Paolo over 4.5 assists. I got that at plus money. It's now like minus 160. So I'm not even going to mention that or even recommend that. The one that I do have is Scotty Barnes over 7.5 rebounds. The odds on this have been kind of interesting. Like I got minus 120. And then when I looked later, it was minus 130. Now it's down to minus 112. So a little bit of line movement here. I really like the play. Scotty Barnes has hit 8 rebounds in 17 of 19 games. So the hit rate is there. He averages about 8 rebounds per game, but it's a great matchup against the Magic. Obviously, like guys in and out of the lineup for the Magic makes a lot of the data for them a little bit wonky. But if you just look at guys similar to Scotty Barnes, 8 of 11 have hit their rebound prop over against the Magic, who includes Scotty Barnes, who last time he played the Magic, he had 9 rebounds on 17 rebound chances. He normally has a really high conversion rate on rebounds to potential rebound chances to actual rebounds. Like he doesn't have a lot of deferred rebounds or anything, and he still had 17 in that game. And if you just look at rebound chances, like the most he's had it in a game this season is 19, and games in which he's had like 13 or more, he's hit 8 or more rebounds in 14 of 17 games. So a super high conversion rate for him. It's a good matchup against a Magic team that have allowed a lot of rebounds to forwards. So that's where I went with this one.
Scotty Barnes, 8+ rebounds. Next game, please.
All righty.
All right. Knicks Nets. It's up to 12.5 now, so this line's been on the move. When I did the video last night, it was 10.5. I know the Knicks are on a back-to-back. I know the Knicks have been struggling on the defensive side of the ball. Can't argue any of that. I say we. I'm a Knicks fan. We kind of own this rivalry. I mean, this is our little brother here, the lowly Nets. Knicks have beaten the Nets 8 times in a row. The Nets are bad. They're a bad basketball team. They're injured. They're tanking. All the above. I think even on a back-to-back, the Knicks can still win this in blowout fashion. Look, I don't really trust the Knicks defense right now, which is a fair criticism. The Nets offense is pretty bad. And I know they have D'Angelo Russell now and Cam Johnson's healthy, so maybe the Nets offense isn't quite as bad as it was a couple weeks ago. I think that's fair. It's probably not as bad as it was a couple weeks ago, but still really bad offense. And you can put the Knicks up for me. So I'm not actually betting it. I was considering betting it at minus 10.5. I there was 3 heavy favorites I liked, the Knicks, the Heat, and the Nuggets. I was trying to think of some way to combine them into some kind of terrible negative EV bet. Couldn't think of anything. I do think the Knicks win this comfortably. Not betting it, but if you put a gun to my head and force me to place a bet, it would be Knicks minus the 12.5 or a Knicks team total over. The reason that the total is so hard to handicap in this game, in every Knicks game, I should say, is they're giving us the Knicks give us very dramatic numbers that pull you in each direction. On one side, the Knicks' offensive efficiency is excellent and has been all year. On the other side, their defensive efficiency, it's terrible. So you're like, okay, that's an over team. They score at a high rate. They give up baskets at a high rate. But they also play a really slow pace. So how can you bet an over in a team that's running 97 possessions a game? That's slow. And then on the other side, you got the Nets. They can't score. They can't stop anybody, but they also run a slow pace. So in terms of scoring efficiency, this game should be over. But it should also be really slow paced, which makes it tough to pull the trigger on an over. So I guess just Knicks are past. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any way to get money down on this game.
I can go next on that because I echo everything that Cal just said. I don't want to lay with the Knicks. It's a tad too big of a number for me. Like you mentioned, Cal, they are on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's short travel, and the Knicks actually had to exert some energy last night to come back. They were losing to Atlanta for the first half, most of the first half, and into the third quarter of that game against Atlanta last night. So I did see that. I was waiting on the D'Angelo Russell news. He is listed as he's listed upgraded to probable, I think. Now, so if him and Ben Simmons plays, it does kind of make me think that the Knicks team total over is the best play on the board here, because then you don't really care about if they cover.
Simmons is ruled out.
Simmons is out officially. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's not enough offense in my opinion. But to your point, Cal, where the Knicks give it up is typically at the 3-point line. That's the worst part of the defense, guarding that 3-point line. And Brooklyn is going to go out there, shoot a bunch of threes. D'Angelo Russell, Cam Johnson is in now. So I still lean Knicks team total up and over. I think they can get there on this Brooklyn team if they are efficient. I don't trust Brooklyn defensively right now. So that would be my recommendation, but I didn't play this game.
Matthew?
So I had Mikal Bridges. So this one, I finally got positive CLV. I had 18 plus points for plus 110. That's now minus 115. If I'm playing this right now, I would actually go up to 20 plus, which you can get at plus 150 at Bet365. It's an excellent matchup for him against the Nets, who are one of the worst spot-up defenses in the entire NBA. They allow the 4th most points per game to spot-up shooters. That's how Bridges scores the majority of his points. After that, the second play type is in transition. They're also the 4th worst defense guarding transition. They're the 8th worst defense guarding the restricted area, which is the shot zone where Bridges scores the majority of his points. He also shoots a lot from the corner, and they're one of the worst corner 3 defenses. So there's a lot of reasons, a lot of avenues in which Mikal Bridges can hit that number in this game. He's played the Nets twice this year. He scored 21 and 22 points in both of those games, and like fit on 18 shots and on 17 shots. So the volume is there. I mean, he shot pretty well in both those games. So if you're telling me he's going to shoot not 18, 17 times, I'll gladly take for him to score 18 points or the 20 plus points number. And just to close this out, 9 guys against the Nets 9 guys similar to Mikal Bridges' scoring profile, play the Nets. 6 of them have gone over, which is a very nice 6 of 9 number. So Mikal Bridges at this point take 20 plus 150.
All right, next game. Someone said post the win-loss records. All of our records are for the last. You can see mine for the last 4 years on the website, and these guys all post their records too. So I don't know what you're talking about, googly-eyed UFC ring girl. It's a sweet comment. Next up, Philadelphia. Who are these morons, man? Philadelphia.
I love when you're like responding to someone and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, kitty kitty lick lick 69 69. I know. Like, I don't know why you didn't make such a coherent point.
I'll never understand like people. It's like the younger generation maybe that are completely willing to type something in, like having no idea if they're even wrong or right. Like, it's crazy.
People just say shit. Yeah.
Philadelphia on the road at Denver. This is the one I was considering betting. It was 13.5. Looks like it's been bet down to 12.5. I know it's a huge number. The reason that I haven't bet it as of right now, I mean, if the Nuggets want to win this game by 20, they can. It's one of the less meaningful games on the Nuggets schedule. It's a home game against Philadelphia, who's missing pieces. There's no Embiid here. It's a bad Philadelphia 76ers team right now, and you absolutely hate to see it happen to such a lovely city, to such a kind group of people. You hate to see it, but they're bad right now. If Paul George questionable, Yabusele questionable, there's no Embiid, like I said, there's no Caleb Martin, and this team as a road underdog has been a disaster. If you've been taking points with Philadelphia on the road this year, you are down big. They're one of the least profitable spots. I believe they're like 3-10 against the spread or some shit as a road underdog this year. Denver obviously plays well at home. As of last night, there was nobody on the injury report. Yeah, you got Jamal Murray listed as probable. So like I said, if the Nuggets don't come out flat and are motivated to play this game, in my opinion, they could very easily win this game by 20 plus. But that is an if. It's the NBA, and this is a less meaningful game. Who do the Nuggets have on deck? Let's look.
I don't know.
The Nuggets have the Kings on deck. That's a more meaningful game, but there's a day off in between, and there's no travel, so nothing really there. I don't know. I don't know if I actually pulled the trigger on this, but it'd be Denver minus 12.5 or pass for me.
I would play the same way, Hal. The other thing I was considering in this game was the team total over for Denver, and it's really just dependent. So it's 2 ways I would want to play this game. If Paul George and Yabusele and Andre Drummond get rolled in, then I like a Philly team total under, because they've really struggled to score. Their pace has actually slowed down. If you look at Denver last few games, their pace has actually slowed down as well. And I don't think that they need to, I don't think that Philly would, I think Philly would struggle to score in this matchup. But if you tell me that Yabusele and Drummond are not going to play in this game, and you just got Bonner down there trying to hang with Jokic, oh, you're talking about a layup line. They might score 150 tonight if they really wanted to. So a team total over, if their front court is rolled out, is absolutely on the cards here. I think Denver can absolutely speed this Phoenix team up and try to get them running, running as fast as they want to run. And I think it's a layup line at the rim. Denver is taking so many shots at the rim, and they're scoring at a very, very high rate. So if you take away Drummond, who's not a great defender, but he's a great rebounder, then I think it's just a bunch of second chance opportunities as well. So I consider, and still considering, a Denver team total to go up and over here, Cal, especially Philly. This is 3rd game in 4 nights as well, and they're in altitude. So I do expect them to run out of gas. Not that they have actually been covering any of their last ones on the East Coast either.
Yeah. I don't know. Philly plays a slow pace, but I get it. Like, they should be able to score easily. What about Matt?
I didn't bet this one. I mean, who the hell's playing for the Sixers? I have no idea. All I know is that whoever ends up being their starting center is probably going to get a lot of rebounds. There's no market out there yet because we don't know who's going to play. Like between Yabusele, Drummond. If Drummond's in, I would probably take his rebound prop. I just need to see what the line comes out at. If he's out, then it'd probably be Bona. But you're just worried about him getting in foul trouble. But yeah, I mean, I'm not betting it. No way.
All right. Next game up. Oh, Prop Beaver's back. Prop Beaver's back. Wizards, Lakers. And before we get into it, Shipley has declared, and we're talking about more than once. He has said he has a strong position on the Wizards money line in this one.
I got a feeling too.
The Wizards did either beat the Lakers or take them to overtime in LA last year. I remember because I had Wizards plus the points, and it was a close game.
Well, Chris should know this. The Wizards always play the Lakers tough.
Is that true, Chris?
Yes, it is. They are. They covered both spreads last year against us.
So what do you think about a friend of ours,
1 by 3,
Eric,
1 by 5,
playing the Wizards money line?
I don't think it's I wouldn't play money line though. I wouldn't play money line. I would definitely take the points. I wouldn't play money line. I think if this was like the beginning of the Western Conference road trip, maybe. But the Wizards are in a super flat spot here. They are, I think, something like 0-16 when they played like 3 games in a row on the road. And this not on top of it being a road game. This is like 3rd game in 4 nights. They started this road trip off in Golden State, right? Yeah, Golden State on Friday, and they lost that game, but they did cover the first half. Then they had Sacramento the next night. Now you only have 1 day in between, and you gotta play against the Lakers. So 3rd game in 4 nights, all on the West Coast. I don't like as much on the money line. Now the points, yes, they are 3-1 against the spread in the last 4. I think it's an over game. I think the only thing I worry about is the Wizards potentially running out of gas here. But I do think the Lakers, even though they play at the slowest pace over the last 5 games, I think they get out and run. I think we see AD absolutely own the rim, a bunch of rebounds, bunch of points. I think we see Austin Reeves and a bunch of pick and roll situations, and the Lakers offense looks a little better. So I didn't play this one either, but those are the 2 ways I would play it. Austin Reeves up and over his assists, especially after not hitting the last 2 games in a row. And then I would be looking at the over in this one, thinking that the Lakers can score. And I think the Wizards team total is like 107.5. The Lakers can give that up too.
Okay, so I agree with you on the over. I want to, Matt, let's let Modai go because you brought up Anthony Davis, and I know he has an Anthony Davis bet because I made the graphic.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with his first quarter point prop over 8.5. You can still get it at -105 if you use Hard Rock. If not, you can get -106 at Caesar. So it's basically the same. I was debating between the first quarter and the full game, but he's generally a fast starter. I mean, it's not a ton of games where he's hit his first quarter, but not the full game. But like if it turns to a blowout, it just wasn't worth it. Regardless, this is about as good of a matchup you can possibly ask for against the Wizards. Now, that's the case for a lot of players because their defense is terrible. But they allow the 2nd most points via free throws. That's where 20% of AD's points come from. 2nd worst defense guarding pick and roll man. That's another 18%. Next up is cuts, which we don't have any defensive data off of that. But the 4th play type, post up, they're the 5th worst defense there. They allow the offensive rebounds, so like points off of putbacks. They are below average. They're not bottom 10. They're like bottom 13. Then transition, 2nd worst. Isolation, 2nd worst. You just go down the line, and the Wizards are an abomination guarding that play type, which makes sense when you think about all 5 players with AD scoring profile have hit their point prop over against the Wizards by an average of almost 12 points above what their over-under is priced at. You go through the list. Sabonis, 29 points, over under 19.5. Şengün, 26 points, over under 19.5. Jokic, 56 points, over under 32.5. Şengün again, 27 points, over under 21.5. And Bam had 32 points, over under of 17.5. The Wizards also give up the 5th most points in the paint. And if you look at AD in teams that are bottom 10 guarding the paint, he's scored 9 or more points in the first quarter in 9 of 10 games this year, again, against teams that are bottom 10 guarding the restricted area and teams that are bottom 10 guarding points in the paint. So it's just an excellent matchup for him. I almost went 10 plus which you can get at +140, but he has hit the 9 number a decent amount. So that's why I stuck with 9.
Did you see Chadel's comment?
Yeah, a snobby French spy.
Prop Beaver also has a prop in this game.
I do, yeah. So I do like the fact that I do think this will be a relatively close game. Wizards 6-2 against the spread against the Lakers. Their last 8 contests, 3-1 against the spread. Their last 4 trips to LA. So for whatever reason, the Wizards do seem to play this Lakers team tough. Ever since I started capping the NBA, for some weird reason, I've noticed that. And I do like Kuzma to go up and over his points and rebounds line today. I know FanDuel, oddly enough, is the only one to have it at 21.5. I know Modai's mentioned that before. I hate when FanDuel has an outlier line, but whatever, we'll live and die with it. I'm fine with this at 22.5 as well. been a weird up and down season for Kuzma in terms of production. But as far as the minutes go, we're starting to see them stabilize a bit over his last 5. 29 plus in 4 or 5 games, usage rate of 24% plus in 4 or 5 games, averaging 31 and 24%. With 29 plus minutes this season, Kuzma's 8-4 to the over. He's averaging 25. And with 24% plus usage rate, he's over his last 10 of 14, averaging 25. Now he's going to face a Lakers team that he just loves to get his revenge against, not only in terms of points, but he goes ballistic on the boards. He smashes total in 5 straight matchups. He's averaging 22 points per game, so nearly over this total in terms of points alone, and he's averaging 10 plus rebounds per game. It's a great matchup for him, as the Lakers have been a bottom 10 defense in terms of paint and rim defense all season. That's where 65% of Kuzma's shots come from. And on top of that, Kuzma's hit 21 plus points and rebounds in all 4 matchups against bottom 10 transition defenses, averaging 31. I think there's way too much value on the over to pass up here. So I think the Wizards are going to keep it competitive. As long as we get a competitive ball game, should get the minutes to go over this one.
So someone said in the comments, I know you were talking about the hangover for Ohio State last night. We were on the midnight stream. We were talking about the Ohio State basketball team. The football team obviously just won the national championship. But the basketball team's on the road. So it's not like they'd be partying on campus or anything. They're on the road. They're at Purdue right now. Someone said, does that apply for LeBron too? And it's an interesting point because he was at the game
I brought that up last night too.
He was at the game, but like obviously, who knows what LeBron does in his personal time, but he doesn't strike me as the type of dude that's like just gonna party with a bunch of college kids. Maybe I'm off there. I don't think that's what he would be doing. He most likely has his own private jet that he flew back, and like he probably slept. Like he's probably fine. So I don't know if LeBron was partying with the Ohio State kids after. I don't know. It was an interesting.
He partied with the coach. He partied with the coaching staff, guy.
Yeah,
the coaching staff. Yeah, Day's getting sloshed after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably was.
And Chip Kelly probably.
Yeah, Day was probably lining him up last night. All right, so this game, there's just one factor that makes this game impossible. I think everything points to points. So you could put over up for me. Problem is the Lakers are running such a slow pace. Such a slow pace. I believe they're dead last in pace in the last 5 games, 27th or something in the last 10 games. So every single angle that I like in this game points to points. The Wizards have been launching a lot of threes, and although they haven't really been hitting the threes, the Lakers have been terrible defending the 3-point line. So if there was ever a matchup for the Wizards to get hot and finally hit some 3-point shots, it's this one against the Lakers. So I think the Wizards can hit some outside shots here. The Wizards love to get out in transition. The Lakers have struggled defensively against the fast break all year, so the Wizards should be able to get some buckets in transition here. It's obviously, we're talking about LeBron and Anthony Davis against the Wizards defense, so there's going to be points coming the other way. I think points. I think we should see scoring. The Wizards run the fastest pace in the NBA, or in the last 5 games, they're the fastest pace in the NBA, but the Lakers have been so slow. And if the Lakers, look, not that I know, not that I'm a head coach in the NBA, but if I'm the Lakers, my strategy would be make this team play us in the half court. We're going to win easily here. Make the Wizards run sets. Make the Wizards run screens. Like, just let's not get into this run and gun sprint back and forth game, because that's when the Wizards can actually play with us if it turns into that type of basketball game. So if I'm the Lakers head coach, I'm making sure this game goes slow. But I don't know if that's what they're going to do. But I think everything on paper points to an over. I just really think, and I really think the Lakers should slow this game down. So I don't know. I don't think I pull the trigger on it because it's such a huge aspect. It like everything I would consider betting here all rides on that. If the Lakers slow this game down, everything I like could be just ruined. So I don't know what to do.
Cal, you need to this is what you need to do. You need to start handicapping first halves, because everything that you just said points to Washington Wizards first half, like against the spread or first half team total over. That's what they do. That's when they cover. And then it's a young team. They run out of gas. Like, if you go back and look at, I was trying to find it real quick. I don't have it pulled up right in front of me, but they've been covering first quarters and first halves. And the Lakers, come out, sleepwalk through the first quarter, first half, and then go into halftime and be like, hold on, this is the Wizards. We can't lose this game. And that's exactly how it's probably going to go. So I'm not betting it, but yeah, I bet you Wizards first quarter, first half probably.
That's not a bad idea. I remember the Wizards had a real good record in first half. Someone said, "Ain't no party like a Ryan Day party" in the comments.
It's true.
All right, let's talk college basketball. I actually have more college basketball bets than I do NBA bets. I have 3, and I'm considering a 4th. So let's bring Toast on. Chris, Moda, I see you both. You won't see me tomorrow. So it's you two and Lindy, you guys, and Prop Beaver producing. You guys got the show without me. I'll be on a flight to Las Vegas. So
what could go wrong? No Cal, me hosting. Yeah, what could go wrong?
Prop Beaver.
So excited.
Yeah, let's see how you guys do without me.
Yeah. Prop Beaver called me tonight. We're gonna rehearse, okay?
Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep things afloat. If I see anything going awry, don't worry. I'll keep the ship right. Don't worry, folks.
My man. Best of luck tonight, fellas.
It's gonna be a good 3 days coming up. Don't let everybody worry.
Yeah, we about to grow the channel so much. He has no idea, probably.
I know. It's good. It's gonna be the Beaver and Chris channel.
We all know viewership's about to go into the toilet without my face on the show.
Yeah, all right. Let's bring Toast on the team. Exactly. Guy doesn't want it bad enough.
Taking days off and stuff, flying out of the city and stuff. He crazy.
It's time for some real.
All right, best of luck, fellas.
I'm going to a sports licensing conference. It's a work trip. Let's relax.
Yeah, he's going to the Dirty Hoochie.
I mean, I may partake in some extracurriculars while I'm there, since I was there.
Okay, let's just move it along.
So if you listened to me last night, I was trying to tell you and Trevor that was a Tennessee spot. It was 6.5. I said Vols. It's now 8.5.
Yeah, nothing changes for me. Nothing changes for me. This number still doesn't make sense. First, I just think that Mississippi State is one of the better teams that nobody's talking about right now. And coming off of, hold on one second, let me pull up my notes here. Coming off a couple different things. Hold on, sorry, they're all messed up. Here we go. Coming off a really big overtime win at home against Ole Miss. People can see this as a down spot. Maybe I get that, but keep in mind, this Mississippi State team since the beginning of December has lost 2 games. One of them to Kentucky, one of them to Auburn, one of them at home, one of them on the road. And like I say a lot, it's hard to find any other team in the country that's not going to lose both of those games. Most likely. So, and then you have a Tennessee team coming in here that looks really, really good when you look at their first 2 months of the schedule. But now over the last couple of weeks, they've been kind of vulnerable. I know that they had that blowout win against Georgia, but they obviously got slaughtered against Florida. They got really lucky, I think, in my eyes, to win that Texas game. They looked really good at the first part of the game, but then they looked kind of bad in the second part of the game. Then they go on the road and lose to Vandy. So, yeah, I get that maybe people would think that this is like a get-right spot for them. But if Chaz Lanier, and the reason I mentioned Chaz Lanier, because the Mississippi State defense is for real. Tennessee is a very good defensive team as well. There's no question about that. But Mississippi State's defense is for real as well. And you have a guy like Chaz Lanier and a team like Tennessee, where we've seen over the last couple of weeks that since his production has dipped, that this team has fallen off of a cliff. And Lanier had 16 or 17 points last game. He shot 4 for 6 from deep. I mean, I just don't see that continuing to happen. Not to mention happen against a Mississippi State team that can match up with this Tennessee team very well. Again, I honestly think that Mississippi State is live in this game. I think that Mississippi State and West Virginia are 2 teams that I continue to pound the table on, that they're like the two best teams in the country that nobody talks about. I don't think they're the best teams in the country, but they're the 2 teams that nobody talks about, and they continue to play well. Shot quality has Mississippi State rated as a better team than Tennessee. Take that for what you want it. But I mean, for me, I honestly think that Mississippi State can win this game right now, or win this game tonight. So I'm on Mississippi State. I took them as a full unit at 7.5. I could care less about the line movement. Line movement has almost been like a curse for most people betting these games. So yeah, Mississippi State minus 7.5. And like I said, I do think they can win it.
Yeah, no, this is a Tennessee spot. And it seems like the college basketball people that I respect, Wags is on Mississippi State. Trevor Vanderbosch, Mississippi State. Toes, Mississippi State. Everyone likes Mississippi State. We're polling 60% Mississippi State. Everyone likes the Bulldogs except me and the Juice. The Juice is on the balls with me. It's me and Juice against the world in this one. So yeah, everyone's betting Mississippi State here. You got Tennessee at home after getting upset. They stormed the court on them in the last game. They stormed the court on Tennessee in the last game. Now they're back home. They're going to let out their frustrations on this poor Mississippi State team. Dog
See, and the
walking?
reason-
Possible dog walking.
Absolutely not. Don't disrespect the dog walking to this game, first of all. Second
I'm
of all,
saying possible dog walking.
Andy would be so pissed off that you used.
Andy would be on the Vols here.
No, he wouldn't. He hates the guy Ziegler with a passion. There's no way in hell he would be on them. But yeah, I just think that Tennessee played much better at the beginning of the year, and Mississippi State's the best team that they've seen since Florida by far, and it's not even close. So we'll see.
At midnight, me and Juice will be here to tell you we told you so.
Yeah.
All right, let's Minnesota, Iowa. You had a nice one on Minnesota last time when they beat Michigan. Oh, that was 2 games ago, actually. Who did Minnesota play in between now and then?
No, it was flipped. They played Maryland and then Michigan, but same difference. Yeah.
So when they beat Michigan at the end, that was 2 games ago.
No, that was their last game.
That was their last game. So
yes.
I kind of understand your bet here. I saw you laid with Iowa. I would tend to think that would be the right side.
Yeah. So for me, I think there was a injury issue with we saw the line move against me a little bit. I think Peyton Sanford was like questionable. I think he's going to play though. I think I'm almost positive I read somewhere that he was going to play. But I've been the reason that I like Iowa so much is I feel in my head that I have a very good read on this Minnesota team. So I've said their last couple games that I would take the points with them just because of how they play and the style of teams that they were going to play, like Michigan, who's very volatile, turns the ball over a lot, shoots a whole bunch of threes that can go either way for you. So I kind of liked what I saw from Minnesota, but now they're coming off of a huge win at home against Michigan. They win that game outright, and now they travel to Iowa against an Iowa team that got really honestly embarrassed on the West Coast. They gave up 99 points to USC in a loss, but they scored 89, and then they caught UCLA in a really bad spot where UCLA went absolutely nuclear. And it seems like they couldn't miss. UCLA shot 80% from the field from that other night. So again, it is you can say that Iowa doesn't play defense very well. Sure, I will give you that. But at the same time, I don't think that this Minnesota team is going to be the one that's going to punish them. Not to mention the fact we've seen with other Big Ten teams coming back from the West Coast hasn't really been an issue. And then you have this Iowa team that's been playing much, much better at home. Keep in mind, Iowa at home has beat teams like by Indiana by 25. They put 97 up on Nebraska. This team has been pretty damn good at home. They scored 104 against New Orleans. Now, obviously, New Orleans is terrible. My point is that they can put up some points, especially against bad teams. And I do think that Minnesota is a bad team. Minnesota likes to play that really, really slow and play through their defense. The issue for me is this. Iowa likes to play fast. They're the 10th fastest team in the country, and Minnesota doesn't force turnovers, and Iowa doesn't turn the ball over. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Iowa to score here, and I really think that you're going to see a much better effort out of this Iowa team defensively. Again, Minnesota might score some points, but I think there's a legitimate chance that Iowa puts up 100 points here tonight, and I don't think there's a chance in hell that Minnesota gets to 90. So I'm not saying it's going to be 100 to 90 is the final score. My point being is that for me, Iowa can put up 100, and nobody would be surprised. And Minnesota could definitely lay an egg here. So I think that Iowa just completely blows this team out.
It's Iowa minus 7.5, by the way. And I would tend to agree with that.
If Vanden Bosch is in the comments, tell me if Seiferd's playing.
No. I don't know about that. He's with you, though. He's saying Iowa. He said Minnesota's about to get trounced. I think Helms is on Minnesota, though. Yeah. And Wag said is agreed.
Iowa's my biggest bet of the day today, guys. I have over 1.5 units on Iowa. I think this is a straight. Yeah, I think this is a smash spot for this team. So especially after coming off being embarrassed on the West Coast, and we've seen teams like Illinois and whatnot be just fine coming back from the West Coast. So I don't really put too much stock into that. So the fact that Minnesota's coming off of that big win, I really like that.
Yeah, I agree. Biggest bet of the day, though. Yeah, let's go on. Who are the psychopaths betting this Texas number up?
I don't know, but this is like my second favorite bet of the day. So
this one's incorrect. Missouri is the side here.
Put the belt up.
Okay. I want the plus 2.5.
You can have +3 if you want it. I don't care.
All right, +3.
As long as Texas win, we all go home happy. You go on your flight to Vegas, all happy. I'm good with that. But Texas money line. I paid -135 for it. This is just a situation where I need Missouri to show me they're as good as that they've shown the last couple of weeks. I don't personally believe that they're this good. They've been shooting the absolute lights out, over 40% as a team from deep over the last couple of weeks. I just don't really feel like that's sustainable. I also think this is going to be a step down in class for Texas, who's played a crazy good schedule. I mean, they haven't been winning games, but again, when you're playing teams like Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Texas A&M, I mean, most teams in the country, like I always say, when you play those 4 teams, are going to be 0-4, 1-3. So it's really hard to knock what this Texas team is doing. And now they're going to be playing a Missouri team coming on the road that shot the lights out in Florida. Good for them. But I mean, Texas hasn't really shot well from 3-point land either. I think sooner or later we're going to see a UCLA situation with them where they're going to get some shots to fall as well. Missouri struggles with teams that get to the rim. Texas, that's one of the best things that they do. I'm sorry, they're one of the better teams in the country at finishing at the rim. I think this is a very, very good spot for Texas. If you guys know me at all, I hate Rodney Terry. I hate betting on his teams, but I didn't bet them against Florida, but I continue to make money on this Texas team. So I feel like I have a very good idea of when they play and when they don't play well. I think this is a very, very good spot for Tennessee. I think the books are more than comfortable giving out Missouri at a plus price, knowing how well they've been playing lately. So I think Texas wins this basketball game for sure.
Wrong. So, yes, Texas has been good to us. I've bet them several times. We've won several bets with this Texas team. They were catching points. They were underdogs. We're talking
to the best teams in the country. Missouri is not
yes. So you
realm.
agree that this is a different role. Now
different role, yes, but
so
at
what,
the same
best
but you're not expecting them to beat Texas A&M, Auburn, Tennessee, or Florida. Like you're not. Those are not no point in those games do I feel like Texas is live. If you're giving me 10 points or 7 points, then yeah, we're going to be all right. But
you're not making a counter argument to what I'm saying. Yes, I agree with what you're saying. This is a different role now. It's a different to be playing as an underdog against a great team to now be in a position where you are the favorite playing in a game you're supposed to win. It's a different type of role. I can't see Toast, by the way. It just blinked on and off. So now that Texas is laying, this is the spot you fade him. And by the way, Vandenbosch agrees with me. Let me go up. He says Texas is favored for a reason. Missouri by multiple possessions. I'm with that. Did I actually...
There's
Let me do a show sauce in the Discord real quick to see if I actually forgot to show sauce. Did I forget to bet Missouri? I forgot to bet Missouri. I'm betting it right now. I'm taking the +2.5. I'm going to leave and come back real quick because I can't see Toast. I'll be right back.
Man, and as far as the argument goes, in a different role, yes. But again, they're not. Yeah. It is what it is, but I really still feel like this is a much better spot for Texas. I mean, I think publicly, I think they're perceived that they're going to lose this game. So I think that they're supposed to win this game because of the book's number, but I think it's there for a reason too. So
get this bet down. Yeah, I'm good to go to the next one. I'm with Vandenbosch on Mizzou. Wait, let me get the comments up. Did we get picks from Wags or anything on this one? Who's Wags on here? Did Wags put a pick in there? What about Juice?
I mean,
this game is hard.
Wags says Mizzou will be top 15 next week. He gets it, Toast. He gets it. Everyone gets it except you. Oh, no, never mind.
Everybody's going to look. I mean, the same people that are betting Mizzou or the same people betting Texas Tech are the same people that bet in Wisconsin. I have a different view of all this. We'll see what happens.
Oh, no, I have TWD's on your side.
Yeah, thank you, because he's a sharp, dude.
TWD's going to record that clip.
Good. Play it up.
He's going to play it every night before he goes to sleep. Texas Tech on the road at Cincinnati. This is the game we were talking about. We talked about this game for a while last night. Everyone seems to like Texas Tech. They're the strong, obviously the much stronger team. Toast was saying he thinks this line should be closer to 3.5, 4. There's an injury question mark that I'm sure we're about to address. I don't know. It seems like Texas Tech team total under would be a real sharp play, but I don't know shit. I'm just listening.
Yeah, I would agree with the Texas Tech team total under. This again, we talked about this last night, but yeah, this line just kind of stinks to me. On paper, I feel like Texas Tech should be like at least a full 2 possessions, or at least over a full possession, better than this Cincinnati team. I mean, Cincinnati has been really, really bad when they've placed anybody with a pulse. I mean, Kansas, Baylor, Arizona, Kansas State. I mean, and you could argue that Kansas State and Baylor are not really good basketball teams, but Texas Tech is much better than those basketball teams. And you have a Cincinnati team that just won 2 games against Colorado and Arizona State, 2 teams that are significantly worse than Texas Tech. And again, Cincinnati plays defense. Like that's one thing that they do very well. And the injury concern, I guess we'll mention that, is the injury concern was JT Toppin. Like, I guess he was sick. Vanden Bosch read that he rolled an ankle, so his status was questionable. I think that Vanden Bosch was thinking that because this line was so low that there's a very question that he might play. But I mean, so if he doesn't play, then I guess the lean would be Cincinnati, but I still would lean Cincinnati just on the fact that this number is just weird. So since I don't want to bet this game unless I know what Toppin's doing. But even if Toppin is in, like, I just don't understand how you would not bet Texas Tech. But clearly the books aren't really worried about Texas Tech at a small number. So, Beaver, I know I'm making it impossible for the graphics, but I really don't have a lean in this game either way. Like, I can see it going either way.
We can move on. Everyone's picking Texas Tech. Everyone's betting Texas Tech here.
It's one of those publics versus square or sharps versus squares.
But who are the quote unquote sharps taking Cincinnati? Because I don't even know any of them. I'm just telling you,
that's just what the idea is in the market. I mean, you have a Cincinnati team that only plays defense, that can't play offense, that can't shoot free throws.
It's very clear that the market thinks Texas Tech is going to struggle to score here, only laying 1.5 with a 133 total. So
agreed.
Whoever the sharp money is that's keeping this line where it is, that's what they're betting. They think Texas Tech is going to struggle to score. Maybe it's because of the injury. I don't know.
I think they would. I think they're going to struggle to score regardless. They're not. I mean, yeah. So Cincinnati's very good defensively. Neither team can really score, and they both run at a slow pace. So,
all right, let's talk real ball. It's kind of like, how can I describe this DePaul team? It's kind of like the Mighty Ducks, the original movie. It's not that they were better than the Hawks. It's that they were clicking at the right time. They had better leadership and better camaraderie. And that just reminds me of this DePaul team. They're gritty beyond all measure. Things they're doing just can't be quantified, can't be put into a model. You won't find it on the stat sheet. This DePaul team has turned the corner. I'm a big Blue Demon guy. Plus 6.5. Creighton, just not a gritty team. Toast, you with me?
I'm with you. I was with you last night when you tried to sneak this in us because I had a feeling that you'd be on them again. And I agree with you. I agree with you. You have Creighton coming off of 3 straight wins in a row after a Marquette loss. I mean, Creighton's been looking pretty decent. I will give you that, but I really hate the spot for them today, playing their third road, or out of their last 4 games. It's gonna be their 3rd road game. They only had a couple of days break after, and now they coming off of a game where they beat UConn and Soares. That's going to be like a really letdown spot for me. And yes, you can say that DePaul is finally coming off of a win with a Georgetown, but now they're going to be playing at home, where I would like for a team that likes to shoot 3-point shots like DePaul likes them at. And also DePaul's losses, again, UConn, Villanova, Xavier, Marquette, Seton Hall, and Seton Hall and Marquette were both in overtime. So it's not like DePaul has been like god awful terrible. They're a bad basketball team at times, but I'm just saying, like, over the last couple of weeks and into January, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, taking Marquette to overtime, that's impressive. Taking Seton Hall to overtime, I mean, Seton Hall's not good, but again, they're just not getting absolutely clobbered. I think the Villanova game where they lost by 50 is just like an aberration. But you have a DePaul team that doesn't, on offense, what do they like to do? Shoot threes and get up and down, and not get up and down, but they turn the ball over a lot. Those are the things you worry about with DePaul. They're 3-point shooting, which I don't think they should be worried about it, because I think you have to worry about Creighton inside with Kalkbrenner. I think that I'll take my chances with DePaul figuring out how to shoot threes at home. And the other thing you worry about with DePaul is they turn the ball over a lot. But what's the thing with Creighton's defense? They're the worst team in the nation, number 360 in forcing turnovers. So DePaul's probably going to get a lot of chances offensively to score here. DePaul defensively isn't really anything to write home about, but they're not terrible. They do a really good job rebounding, and they also do a really good job of not putting other teams on the foul line. And Creighton does a pretty good job of free throw shooting. So if you take that out of Creighton's offense, I think that just gives DePaul even more chances. DePaul's going to slow this game down. I think they're going to be able to hit their threes tonight. I think they're kind of live here. I think that Creighton's a little bit overvalued in the marketplace. I think that St. John win was kind of fluky. I think Butler and Providence are absolutely terrible, and then they're coming off probably the biggest win you've had in all season, maybe the win against Kansas. But besides that, I think that UConn win is going to be bode well bad for them when I have to go on the road here against DePaul.
Someone said, someone was talking about my Mighty Ducks comparison. He says, "Get the hell out of here." Mighty Ducks had a great coach. Holtman has 2 conference road wins in the last 4 calendar years, but this is what you're not getting. Yeah, Gordon Bombay was a great coach, but what happened before? What happened before the championship run? He had a DUI. He hit rock bottom, and greatness is born out of adversity. And honestly, I see a lot of similarities between Holtman and Coach Bombay.
And Holtman's only been there this year, and he has 1 conference win, so he's doing a pretty damn good job in DePaul standards.
Kind of reminds you of a Gordon Bombay. Remember first 2 games when he took over the Ducks? It looked like shit. He was throwing things, and he made them play with trash. Like, things were looking bad. But greatness is born out of adversity. DePaul up next game.
I wonder if DePaul was practicing with eggs. Like maybe a couple passing drills, soft hands type of things.
Soft hands, yeah. I'm sure he has something like that.
That was big for the Ducks. That was big for the Ducks.
That was a turning point, the soft hands. Yeah, really, It's really taught the team finesse. North Carolina, Wake Forest.
I can't even do it now.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Van der Bosch made a great case for Wake last night. He had me sold on like the second or third sentence of it. He started talking about Wake Forest, and I was like, yeah. And I bet Wake money line. I'm in. I tailed Van der Bosch on this one. I bet this Wake money line.
After the third sentence, I was in.
I
didn't hear anything else after the third sentence, but it was very good. I'm on Wake as well. I just think that I think that people are seeing North Carolina at a short number after losing to Stanford at home. But I mean, this North Carolina team really hasn't been impressive. I mean, their wins in January, Notre Dame, SMU looks decent, North Carolina, NC State, and then Cal. I would argue that besides SMU, Wake Forest is a much better team than all those guys. And the one thing that I like about Wake Forest is they are starting to play a little bit better. They haven't played any team that's nearly the competition of North Carolina to play. But like Van den Bosch made a good point yesterday, is that they have their next 2 games North Carolina and Duke, and maybe that some people look at that as a death sentence, but Wake Forest probably, and Van den Bosch said this, not me, but I 100% agree that they're probably know they're not going to lose to Duke. And so the fact that they can put all their eggs in this basket against North Carolina, I really like that fact. I also like the fact that what does North Carolina like to do? Play fast, and they don't play defense. Well, I think it's the opposite of what Wake Forest is going to do. Wake Forest wants to slow this game down, play through their defense, and I think that's going to give North Carolina some issues here. I think that Hunter Salas can hold his own, especially with RJ Davis. I think that the size of Wake Forest is going to give UNC some problems, especially rebounding. I know that Wake Forest hasn't been a great rebounding team, but North Carolina hasn't been really great either. And I think that if you have guys to match up with North Carolina, they're going to really struggle. I think that the Wake defense is so much better than the North Carolina offense. And I will give you that the North Carolina offense is probably a lot better than the Wake Forest offense is. But at the same time, with the amount of possessions that I think that Wake Forest is going to limit North Carolina, you're going to see guys like RJ Davis and Cardo jacking up shots. And RJ Davis, a 28% three-point shooter, Cardo, a 27% three-point shooter. I mean, I don't really have – there's nobody on this team that I really worry about. Maybe Ian Jackson, but really he hasn't done anything from deep in a couple of weeks. He had like one good game against NC State, but besides that, it's been nothing. So if the freshman Jackson beats me, so be it. But I think this is like – a circled spot for Wake Forest, especially at home here today. They've played much better since the beginning of January. Only losses to Florida, Texas A&M, and Clemson. I think they should be able to win this game.
Yeah, I got -113. It's still, I mean, I do see you can get Wake at +100 at BetMGM, but I also still see it at -110, -112. So this is just pretty much a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Oh, is that the last game? Oh no, one more. And Toast is going to be stupid and take Wisconsin despite me telling him not to.
No.
You didn't do it?
No. Nope.
This is a sketchy line, just like the UCLA Iowa game was a sketchy line. And what happened? UCLA beat the Christ out of Iowa, despite everyone taking the plus 6.5. Wisconsin coming off the huge win off USC. This is where they laid the egg. It's a shitty state, home of shitty people. I'm just joking. It's because a couple people. No, Vanderbilt.
Damn liberals.
That was legendary. Like, awesome answer. No, I'm making that joke because Vanderbilt is from Wisconsin. I know he's in the comments. UCLA or pass for me.
Yeah, it's another one of those like sharps versus squares type of thing. Anybody that's a square is. I'm not saying that you're betting it because I'm just saying in general that's the consensus of this game. Wisconsin. I mean, it's really hard to make a case for UCLA on paper. I mean, Wisconsin's been very, very good. They've been tested. They just absolutely annihilated USC. It's not like they have to travel. They've been sitting in probably the same hotel room, and now they don't really have to go anywhere else, and they have to come in and play a UCLA team. But again, I don't really know what to expect from UCLA, and that's why I can't actually play them. Obviously, they're back home. We've talked about so much about how they've had to travel east to west so many times, and that was a real killer for them. And now back home against Iowa, talking about their last game, they finally come out, they shoot the lights out. They shot 8 for 23 from deep, like we talked about before. They shot 80% from the field. Do they do that against a Wisconsin team? I don't really know, but at the same time, I don't really trust the Wisconsin. Again, I just feel like if you're getting 3.5 with Wisconsin, I don't even want to say I don't trust it. I just don't trust the number. Like, you're getting 3.5 with Wisconsin. They match up stylistically. I would even argue that the Wisconsin defense isn't even that much worse than the UCLA. UCLA 12th in adjusted efficiency as far as Ken's Palm. Wisconsin 46. So it's not like it's head and shoulders different. Wisconsin, and a huge thing for me in a possession game like this, Wisconsin, the best free throw shooting team in the country at 85.5% as a team. UCLA under 70% as a team. That's good for 247. So even if this game is close late, you have a team in Wisconsin that can probably, and they've shown over the course of the year, that can get shots and make those shots. And if they're put on the line, they're going to make it. It would be Wisconsin on paper, it would be Wisconsin or pass. But my spidey senses say it have to be UCLA. So if I have to make a pick, it'd be UCLA. I'm very, very curious to see how UCLA plays offensively here tonight. If they have a little bit of swagger back, then maybe we can start looking towards them in the future. But as far as I'm concerned right now, there's no way in hell you can lay points with UCLA. So unless you're just being like, I'm sharp and this is what we're going to do. But on paper, it would be Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is not a good basketball team. They're fool's gold, and I can't wait to fade the dick out of them in the Big Ten tournament. I'm truly looking forward to it, and I'm going to have a good time.
I don't know if I agree with you or not. I think that they've won a whole bunch of against a whole bunch of bad teams. Like USC isn't a good basketball team. Ohio State's not a really good basketball team. So the times that they've stepped up in class, I mean, what's Wisconsin's best win? Pittsburgh, right? Iowa?
Rutgers?
It's not like they've done any. Okay, maybe Arizona. Sorry, Arizona way back in the day. But again, I
back when that was back when Arizona was playing like shit.
I know, but I didn't want to keep on going super long. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely poke holes.
If you're talking shit about Wisconsin, you can go as long as you want. I enjoy it.
I'm just saying, like, Arizona wasn't necessarily the same team that we saw. So again, Arizona also had Duke on deck in that game. So there's just a lot of things that you can, again, pick holes with Wisconsin if you so choose.
Real quick before we call it, couple questions. Someone's asking about West Virginia. I think West Virginia game, the SMU Louisville game. A few people asked about that one. Also, a couple of people mentioned the VCU game as well. I think Rod Z is on VCU pretty heavy there.
Yeah. So really quickly, I did play SMU money line. One of those, again, I've said this like 3 times, but it is what it is today. Like, it's one of those sharp versus square situation. I don't know if Louisville is as good as they've shown. I'm not going to sit here and try to nitpick what they've done. They continue to win games. I'll give them credit, but also SMU has also played really well. I think the line's kind of telling, but they haven't. SMU is also. I'm just trying to find the rest of my notes. I've heard people say that SMU hasn't really looked good when they've stepped up in class, but those teams are Duke, North Carolina, and Mississippi State. Not many teams, like I say, is not going to look good or is going to look good against those teams. I think SMU can hold their own offensively, and you have Wisconsin, or you have SMU, one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the country. Louisville isn't very good at defending it. We'll see what happens, but I tried to be a sharp today, and I took SMU at home. So.
All right, let's call it. It's after 5.
And I have a full unit on Rhode Island plus 7.5 for the VCU person.
Rhode Island plus 7.5. Tonight I'll do the midnight show, but that'll be the last time you'll see my face for 3 days. So I fly out to Vegas tomorrow, but the show will go on as usual. Prop Eva will be producing. We're leaving the responsibilities in capable hands. And then all the normal faces will be here. Tomorrow it'll be Modi, Chris, Lindy, Trev, if Vandenbosch or Wags, either of you guys want to come on for college basketball, I could use the help. Toast is going to be on his own doing college basketball the next couple days. So if either of you guys are able to commit to hopping on the next couple days, that'd be helpful. But yeah, everyone have a good one. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. Bet responsibly. Oh, by the way, college basketball. I think I've hit like 7 bets in a row. So hopefully the streak continues. I have 4 bets open. So I'm going to need to go 4-0 to keep it going. But basically, I'm a college basketball god. So that's a joke. I don't really do college basketball. Everyone